All right, everybody. Hey, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm sorry I haven't really been producing anything. The love of my life died, and it's been a little bit tough. So I have tough. It's an inside joke. If you know, you know. Anyway, I'm headed up to an area because I'm in the winter time. I use a lot of pine needles, and I make a lot of medicines out of them, especially for personal use. And I do this every year, have for years and years. Sometimes I even do a plant walk in the wintertime, and educate people and collection and how to take medicine from the trees, how to properly prune them so you're not hurting the trees, how to taste them. I give a really awesome, it's probably about $150 per person walk, and usually I do it for pretty cheap, but I'm probably not going to do it this year. I just have a lot of other things that I'm interested in, and I just have a lot of other things that I actually need to get done. So anyway, story. This story is about the last native elder medicine person that I worked with, who was a authentic rainmaker, but more than that, it's a whole other thing that most people probably can't even grasp, so I think I should just get to the story. Anyway, so usually when you're working with shamanic type people and they decide for whatever reason, could be a whole host of other reasons, could be that you already have a level of consciousness, or that you would make a good carrier to continue on this medicine work, that you have worked through enough stuff that you could actually, be able to utilize it. There's a lot of just different reasons why shaman type people, and I put him in the category kind of more of the shaman person. And shamanism isn't what people think it is. And I would like to just tell people that the word shaman is actually a Russian word, right? It comes from Russia. And so it gets misused and it gets misinterpreted. And let's just talk about Native people in Americas. There would have been two types of people in doing work. There would have been the medicine person, who was a woman and a man, right? And they may not have been married or together, but they would have dealt with issues of trespass on land, praying over crops, doing all of kind of like the spiritual work and the medical work, let's just call it that, and making pharmaceutics, out of plant medicines and stuff like that, right? Then there would have been, I hate these flies. It's winter. It's frozen out. These flies are you just can't get rid of them. Never live by garlic farmers. Yeah, onions and garlic, it's the worst. Anyway, then there is kind of a shaman person, or what would be like a witch doctor, or a nagual, or somebody who possesses also supernatural type abilities, right? And can be used for good or bad. And sometimes you have to walk that edge, that fringe, into the darker places in order to develop yourself. Okay, so this person I'm going to be talking about, he was my last teacher in medicine power ways, and he passed away in June 2016. I've talked about him before. And so this is the story. So in 2014, I left to go up and do 10 days of ceremony with him up north in the Idaho area. We were trying to clean up a lot of the hate, murder, bloodshed. Now, this is not a liberal thing. This is not a Republican thing. This is an ancient thing, okay? Where you use medicine, ceremony to fix and clear things that darkness has, like taken hold, or evil has taken a grip on it. And once you have evil that has taken a grip on something, it creates a vortex of sameness, right? Just like if you use something for goodness, it would create an intention, a vortex of sameness, right? So sometimes when like you see, one person die in a very aggressive like car accident on the side of the road, and you see people put up crosses and all this other stuff, it actually creates an intention for death, because it's like an honoring or celebrating of death. And so the next thing you know, it becomes like this causation to a reaction of that, the sameness. And then you start to see all kinds of accidents piling up there, murders happening, and it becomes this vortex of death, good, bad, or indifferent, right? And it just starts to pile up. It's really bad for people who need to pass on, animals, anything that gets caught into that web of energy. And that it has to inevitably be cleaned, okay? And the cleaning of it is not easy. If you go back and look at some of my videos from, 2018, I almost died. I was asked by this teacher to go and clean up a mess, a water mess, that had a lot of murder, bloodshed in it. And I got the job done, but it actually almost killed me. And I probably never really have totally recovered from it. So these things can be very difficult, and some of us do jobs that other people do not do. And his whole thing was that if we didn't raise the vibration of the water, which also goes back to a lot of Rudolf Steiner work, where he talks about minerals being having reflective mirror consciousness. So what we put into them is exactly what we get back. And so if there's like this dragnet, webs of darkness that are collecting from one original sin, one, act of violence, one accident, intentional thing, then what happens is that it just becomes a web of that, and it gets worse and worse and worse, whatever the tension is. And if it's goodness, then it can be goodness. And you can also go and look at a lot of Emoto's work, who also was a researcher that discovered that water kind of minerals kind of have this imprint, right, that can be placed upon them. So my teacher's work was really about, cleaning the water, spiritually removing, back to the original sin of whatever the web was holding, or the energy was holding, and that would be the frequency or the vibration that was being put out. And I could talk about what happened, a few weeks after that. I was drawn back to the same location, and my student and I went, wow, the cleanup that the sky beings did was phenomenal. And I was so grateful for that. Anyway, so this is the kind of undermining work that needs to be done. And one thing that I always learned was that to never, ever, ever touch medicine people's medicine, whether they're dark medicine people. This is why I kind of have weird things about I don't pick things up off the ground. I don't like things left. I mean, I used to all the time. But even if it's $100 bill, I do not pick it up because I do not know where it came from and the imprint on it. So I'm really careful about that, and I try to be really careful about not touching a lot of things in people's homes, and also I'm just really careful about a lot of that kind of stuff. Because I don't want to get other energetics or imprinted, on me. And then also carry that stuff around. So sometimes a lot of stuff needs to be cleansed periodically. Anyway, so that is that. Brief kind of description. And then the next video is going to be the story. And then the areas that it leads me to that can be used in the, kind of the same manner. All right, part 1.